for it.
Hello, hello, hello. We have arrived at episode 55 of the Horsemen
Oh God!
podcast.
You
Man,
did not
a lot
just
of
go
episodes.
Simon Hager all
Yes,
over
I
us, huh?
did. Yes, I did. Yeah.
You're like 55.
Anyway, so welcome to the Horsemen podcast, episode 55. And I am not alone as always. I'm joined by, right next to me, Raphael. And then up in the top left, Ricky.
Hello.
And last but certainly not least, the always lovely Pixie. So, conspicuous by their absence, Arthur and Hannah, they couldn't make it this time around. Hopefully they'll be back for the next episode, and I especially hope they'll be back, because we'll talk more about next episode later on. This time around, oh man, I hope everybody's got their tissues ready that's watching. We are talking the top 10 saddest songs in metal. Last time we were on here, we talked about the most brutal songs. Now we're on the opposite of the coin, the saddest songs.
Even though some brutal songs are sad,
In
to
a
be honest,
lyrical
there's some
sense,
brutal
yeah.
sad songs. Yeah.
It actually touches your heart, and it makes you wonder, like, I can't believe I went through this.
Right.
Hey, but this gets to show that we have hearts, we have feelings. We're not just all about death and despair.
Yeah.
Right.
We cry,
You
we cry, we love, we care.
We cry,
We're
we
not-
can fucking fly.
We're not evil. We're jolly and depressed at times with the songs. Because this made me fucking depressed. Make me depressed.
And you know what's funny?
Yeah.
And the shirt you're wearing, Ricky, Typo Negative, made me think of that Howard Stern thing. Howard Stern asking Peter, you're a very depressed person, aren't you? More like repressed. Oh, rest in peace, Peter Steele. But, so I figured a good place to begin before we get into the lists is to talk about, like, what makes a sad metal song? Because I feel like it's all very subjective to what people think of a sad song is all about. For me, it has to have a combination of, like, a sad story being told, or it's also the way the song is constructed that makes it feel sad. Like one song in particular that I have on the list, that's an instrumental, but it has a sad feeling to it, and when I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So it's basically, like, for me, a combination of, like, the lyrics telling a very sad story, or something that hits you in the stomach, or the way the song is put together that makes it sound like it's somber and sad and so on and so forth. So, anybody else want to add on to that?
Usually when I look for sad songs, so it depends on the tempo. Usually has to be a bit slow. The vocals have to be a bit lower, kind of like that. I guess you're kind of in a funeral, giving an eulogy. That kind of feeling. Even though some metal songs are fast and brutal, lyrics at times are so depressing that you're like, damn, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking a lot at both the sound for, even if it's an incredibly brutal, outright death metal song, for one with a sound that is very melancholy, plus lyrical content that deals with either sad subjects or existential subjects. Basically, if it's very philosophical in a dark way, that was kind of what I was looking for. Or ones that I know personally the stories behind, and therefore they hit me personally a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Raphael, anything else you want to add?
No, I guess we pretty much got everything. I mean, it's just to hear a sad song, you pretty much had to listen to the song, try to find out the backstory behind it, and pretty much all what is it about. Once you hear the lyrics and it touches the soul of the heart, which is human nature, that's how you know it's a very sad song, because it's depending, and then once you read what's the backstory or ask them directly what did that song mean, you're like, wow. Sorry you went through that, man.
Hmm. No wonder they wrote that dark and despair, and which
Yeah.
at times I've always mentioned this. Sometimes with tragedies, the opposites after coming out of that tragedy create some beautiful music. At times, I mean, we have a lot of tragedies in metal. Later on, it will create some good, and I mean good albums.
Yeah, that I agree.
Well, with all that said, now let's talk about the honorable mentions for our
I don't,
lists.
so I don't know. You want to first do Hannah's
Yeah, let's
and
go ahead
Archer's
and
honorable
do
mention?
Hannah and Archer's honorable mentions. Get those done.
All right. So with Archer, he had on his honorable mentions Hard Like a Grave by Insomnia, Stairway to Heaven, Freebird, um, 13th by both Dancing and Johnny Cash, Coming Home by Pain, The Beloved Cry by Orphan Land, and Forsaken by Dream Theater. And Hannah's honorable mentions, she had Nightwish, Sleeping Sun, Agathonian, Body of Clay, Black Sabbath, Solitude, Kawan, Instead of Tears, Hypomanly, Lullaby for Ion, Ostrete, Just for a Moment, Heretier, Snow Colors, and Swallow Sun, From Happiness to Dust, which I'll talk about Swallow Sun because I have him on my list, but that's a good Swallow Sun song. Trust me, that's a good one. And those are their honorable mentions.
Alright, for mine, I got quite a few because I did some last minute digging on some of these songs. Starting off, Megadeth, A Tout Le Monde, the original version from Euthanasia.
I was about to ask you, the original or the re-record?
Yeah, I mean, the re-recording's great in its own right, but it lacks that ethereal feeling that the original version has. Plus, the original version's slower and more epic at the same time. And also, combine it with the music video, with everybody jumping into the grave. Very powerful visuals for that song. And of course, like, basically, for those who don't know, it's a song all about, like, whenever someone passes away, they just want to be set free up into the heavens and see his family at some point. And that song can really hit me because, you know, I've lost two key family members, my oldest brother and my grandfather, over the past 5 years.
My condolences.
Thanks. Next up, probably the most recent song, Ozzy Osbourne, "Ordinary Man."
Oh, that one.
And there are so many Ozzy songs you could put on here. I went with "Ordinary Man," especially coupled with the music video. Wow. And to see in the music video, like, Ozzy watching a highlight reel of his life and nearly crying at the end, that was powerful stuff.
It's on my list.
Next up, probably the second most recent one. This one, some people might think, but when you hear, especially how the song starts and ends, and reading the lyrics, "Death Becomes My Light" by Creator.
Ooh,
that's a powerful one.
Yeah. Kind of like they're like almost like Iron Maiden's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son era type of song. Because it's like starts off with this like beautiful melodic guitars, and then you hear Mila Petrosa go into that kind of gothic, clean vocal, talking about how he wants to come home, but ends up dying in the end, and trying to show that he's not afraid of death and he wants to be set free at the end. But most of the song has that like Iron Maiden gallop to it, which I really, really like. Next up, another big one. In Memoriam by Evil. After all, this song, it was released 10 years ago on their Five Serpents' Teeth album. That's like their one and only ballad, and it was in tribute to their original bassist, Mike Alexander, who passed away from a heart attack while touring in 2009 in Sweden. And this also with the music video, like following two best friends who hang out, drink together, and have fun, and then one of them dies out of nowhere. And surprise. Next up, this one probably one of the more obscure ones for somebody who probably only followed this band in the 80s, but didn't know about this album in 2006. Drown in Ashes by Celtic Frost.
Yes.
You want to talk about bleakness? Holy shit, this song. Probably, yeah, like, out of all the songs on Monotheist, which that album is so dark, so gothic, so doomy, and all this and that, this was probably the darkest song out of them all, because it's just got this depressing, ethereal quality to it, and also hearing Tom Warrior try and do dark, clean vocals was really refreshing on this song. Next up, an old school one, Timelessness by Fear Factory. The closer of an amazing concept album and Obsolete, and I know our buddy Kamikaze, if he were watching this, he'd be like, why isn't this on the actual list, damn it? Well, it's only an honorable mention. It's a great song, and strangely enough, for those of you wrestling fans out there, there was, for Unforgiven 1999, when they were building up the six-pack challenge between Triple H, The Rock, Kane, Mankind, Big Show, and British Bulldog with Stone Cold as enforcer, they used this song in the promo package for part of it. Very odd, but it was nicely put. And yeah, with Burton C. Bell's vocals kind of beginning to soar a little bit by the end, goes to show you that Burton's more than just a typical Beauty and the Beast guy doing the guttural and the cleans. He can actually do some soaring stuff. Next up, this one, another fairly recent one, and this one kind of fits in line with, you know, family and stuff. Always by Killswitch Engage. I think this is like probably Killswitch's most underrated song, simply because, you know, it's on the first album without Howard Jones since the early 2000s. They got Jesse Leach back, but Jesse shows that he still got it, even though I personally have not been into the latest Killswitch albums. This was like the last one I really liked. But this song was definitely like the highlight of the album, because it definitely tells like story about like, even when you go through the toughest of times, just know that there will always be people right there by your side.
Yeah.
Next up, this one kind of in tone and lyrics, even though it's more of like if you were to mix Iron Maiden and Metallica, because you get like some of that Steve Harris bass influence and the Metallica riffing. Broken One by Trivium.
Ooh.
Like, and this is an obscure one because it was never released on an album. It was released on an EP after The Crusade came out, so it was in the Crusade recording sessions. Basically, it's like a song all about like someone who's going through the roughest of times, feeling like need to make a change in order to stop these demons from creeping up. And Matt Heafy's vocals, wow. It's like, yeah, he kind of sounds different now than he did back in 2006, but wow, the dude can fucking sing.
Yep.
5 more. Next up, an old classic. And this one, people have to really read into the lyrics to understand. The Years of Decay by Overkill. Beautiful song talking all about like life on the road and how it can lead to losing your family and being on drugs and all this and that, and basically like the poster song for how touring can really not only be good for you, but can be bad for you at the same time. Kind of showcases the good and bad sides of being out on the road all the time. Next up, The Legacy by Testament. I mean, and also combined with the music video, basically like a song all about how no matter how much money you have, you're never truly satisfied with anything in life. Next up, Arthur had it in his honorable mentions. I have it too. Coming Home by Pain. Like, Peter Tägtgren, I feel, doesn't get enough credit for being a great musician, because his production work has always often overshadowed like what he does with Hypocrisy and this band, Pain, which is his industrial symphonic project. And Peter's not just a great growler, but a hell of a clean vocalist, too. And this song, probably the best song he's ever done clean vocals on. You know, basically a song all about going through a midlife crisis. Next up, I almost wanted to put this in the top 10, but I just feel that the songs I have in the actual list are a little bit more melancholic than this one. Song to Haul Up High by Bathory. Yeah, because a beautiful Viking acoustic song off of Hammerheart that leads into Home of Once Brave, but Song to Haul Up High, basically like Thor making a plea to Odin that whenever it's his time to die, hopes to be reunited with Odin in Valhalla. And then finally, I got Firelights by Swallow the Sun. Enough said.
I have Solo Star, but yeah.
Well, Pixie, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I had a little trouble narrowing down my honorable mentions. Initially I was actually having trouble with this, but then I started thinking about the subject and I kind of went insane. But
don't we all?
And they're in absolutely no order, but my first one would be Destiny by Death.
That's a good one. That is a good one. And that's one of my favorite Death songs.
Me as well, and it just kind of hits you. And then the next one is one that's pretty obscure, and you have to know the story behind it to really understand why it is really heartbreaking, but it's called At Rest by Hellwitch. And the song is actually about, there's a cemetery right next to where we used to live in Dania, and you could see it from our bedroom window, and there's this gravestone right there that nobody does anything with. It's always overgrown, and it's for an infant. And all it says is the name, the dates, and at rest. And there's no family who come or even pay the caretaker to do anything, no flowers, and it's sad that there's this child who is just gone, and nobody seems to care. After that would be After My Prayers by Immolation. As I said, I went into a lot of the existential.
Mm-hmm.
Then The Internal by Godflesh. Three Wasp songs: Sleeping in the Fire, The Idol, and Cries in the Night.
Not bad.
One that got a lot of mention in the last podcast, Alice in Hell by Annihilator. I have two sentence songs on here. We Are But Fallen Leaves and No One There. Sentenced was one of my boyfriends who passed away at age 25 of a heart attack's favorite bands. And not only are these songs absolute heartbreakers, but it's really hard for me to listen to them, not only because of the lyrical and musical composition of them, but also because of the memories. Like Everybody Else by Halloween.
Oh, Halloween.
Melissa by Merciful Fate.
Oh,
I know Scott and Archer would be proud of you on that one.
Yeah.
I'm kneeling in front of the altar, Satan's cross upon the wall.
Voice he does.
No, I can't do it. I would probably crack my voice.
Break
hear
your
you
voice
do it.
box.
Do it!
I could.
I could do
I
it.
would do it, but there's people downstairs and I don't want to freak them out.
I mean, you don't want the cops called for somebody skinning a cat?
What happened? Oh, that was just a weird guy singing in his room.
Oh, we thought it sounded like a cat getting strangled and skinned alive.
Next, I have 3 Bathory songs, which are Ode, Raise the Dead, and The Lake.
Ooh.
The lake.
Again, these are more existential,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to your typical just like sad story or something like that. I have One Too Many Times, The Miracle, and Suicidal Failure by Suicidal Tendencies. The Miracle especially because it's about antidepressant medication and how it changes you, but how it also doesn't necessarily make anything better, which is the subtext to it. Then I have Failed and Oddfellows Rest by Crowbar. And Oddfellows Rest is a cemetery in New Orleans, and I used to go there and do photography and drawing, and used to go there with friends who are no longer with us alive, so that one just really has a lot of memories. Also used to listen to Crowbar a whole lot because local band. Then I have Mary Bell by Macabre. And that one is really sad because it asks the question, Mary Bell, child from hell, where are you now? Are you doing well? After this was a girl who, at age 11, killed 2 really little boys. And she actually is doing well. She's living under a different name. She has a daughter and a grandchild. And so there is kind of a bittersweet thing. But Ryan Howe and Martin Brown's families, they're dead.
Jeez.
That's hard.
And that's off the album Sinister Slaughter, which is all about real killers. I have another local band from where I grew up, Acid Bath, Scream of the Butterfly, and The Bones of Baby Dolls.
Not bad.
I have Until Our Paths Cross Again by Creator. I have Camouflage by Sabaton, which is a Stan Ridgway cover. And that one, my uncle, who was in Vietnam, was captured, and songs about that war in particular, that one and World War II, both really get to me just because of what people who I knew went through. My uncle, he would have been that big Marine, even though he was not a big guy at all. Nobody in my family is big. I mean,
Right.
that's the kind of guy who he was, and his PTSD actually killed him.
Damn.
Then I have The Price by Twisted Sister, which is just obvious, but
I forgot that one.
Damn, I like Twisted Sister.
I have the final chapter by Hypocrisy.
More Peter Tattigren love.
And I have more Peter Tattigren love in my actual top 10. I have Beyond the Realms of Death by Judas Priest.
Oh,
I know Archer has a list.
Yep.
Sorry, jumping.
We can't let it know. We get it wrong.
I have a really cool Etta James cover by Alice Cooper, Only Women Bleed.
Only women bleed. Only women bleed.
And that song, needless to say, I mean, the lyrical content, the history of it, how it was written, and then Alice's performance of it. It's just... I have You Were But a Ghost in My Arms, In the Shadow of Our Pale Companion, and The Great Cold Death of the Earth by Agaloth.
One of those is in my list.
Sorry.
I forgot the mantle. I forgot about it. Not gonna lie.
Man.
I have Solitude by Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Of course.
I have both Phobophile and Born Headless by Cryptopsy.
Ooh.
And then lastly, I have 2 Iron Maiden songs, which are The Evil That Men Do, which just... I have a very pessimistic view of humanity, which people might pick up on as they get to know me.
Yep.
But it's... And then Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Damn it.
And then I have just a little really silly list, which is, these aren't really metal, but they are sad as fuck. Suffer the Little Children and Hell is for Children by Pat Benatar. Sally's Pigeons by Cyndi Lauper, which is a true story about her best friend who had an abortion that killed her.
Oh, jeez.
Back when they were not legal.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Laura I Love Her by Ray Peterson, which is about a guy who enters a stock car race to try to get enough money to buy an engagement ring and ends up dying.
Oh, wow.
And his last words are, tell Laura I love her, tell Laura I need her. And it's just a...
Yeah.
Hey, that's a tough one. Do anything for love, but that's a tough one.
2 Nine Inch Nails songs, which are Something I Can Never Have and Hurt.
Yep.
And then Cold by The Cure. Off of the album Pornography, which is one of the darkest albums ever created.
So
Ricky.
So Pixie had like what, 30 honorable mentions? She broke the record?
Yeah.
I warned y'all, and that's not even all of my honorable mentions. I whittled that down from over 50.
And why the fuck did I say Lady the Pixie? Lady must be like, ugh. Wrong person.
That's why. And I'm lame as fuck.
So my honorable mentions, if I can find the fuckers, I just found them right here.
Where are you?
Got him. So I have Black Sabbath Changes, especially later on. Ozzy recorded that with his daughter, which was
Kelly,
which was kind of cool. Love Hurts by Nazareth. I mean, of course, we all been heartbroken. Love's a bitch.
Yeah.
The Drugs Don't Work by The Verve.
Ooh.
Very depressing song, especially about drug use and how drugs don't get rid of the pain; they bring back more pain. 1916 Motorhead.
Forgot that one. Oh.
I mean, basically
that one got
about
too much love last time, so I was just like, nope.
basically about the World War One, the Battle of World War One. You know. I think I just could leave out.
He's still alive. He just
Next up, I have Queen, Mother, especially the ending of the song when it's recorded by Freddie, but at the very end, Brian May adds the rest of the vocals because I think this was the last song Freddie recorded before he passed. So Brian had to fill up the rest of the vocals on that song. It's kind of sad yet haunting that he died while recording that song. Just kind of creepy in a way. I know Hannah would kill me for having this in honorable mentions, but Kiss Masters Goodbye, Woods of Ypres. Even though I do have a Woods of Ypres song higher on the list, which I'll mention later. Ohne Dich, Rammstein. Again, beautiful, melancholy song. Enough said. Tears in Heaven, Eric Clapton.
Ooh.
Depressing song, especially since it talks about the passing of Eric Clapton's kid. I mean, what more can you want? My Immortal Evanescence. We've all listened to that song. I mean, everyone in the 2000s grew up with that song. So Far Away, Avenged Sevenfold. Again, depressing song, especially about, the ref passing and all that.
Yeah, while they were writing the album, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, Fade to Black and Nothing Else Matters by Metallica.
Nothing else matters.
One.
Yep, those are my honorable mentions.
Raphael?
Well, I only have 3, and they are Cold, Gone Away, Nothing Phase, Parisi, I do not know how to pronounce that name, Stone Sour, Haystack? Yeah.
And now it's time for the top 10, but before we get everybody else in here, I guess, Ricky, a good place to start is Arthur and Hannah's list, since they're not here.
So let's start with Hannah. From number 10 to number 9, she had number 10, Metallica 1, and Rammstein Ohne Dich. Number 9, Eyes of Fire, The End Result is Falling. Number 8, Woods of Ypres, Kiss Masters Goodbye. Number 7, Primordial, The Coffin Ships. Number 6, Amon Amarth, Embrace of the Endless Ocean. Number 5, Nine Inch Nails, Johnny Cash's Hurt. Number 4, Nick Cohen, Winterstep, and Panopticon, Famas, Beneath the Snow. Number 3, Canatonia, Day. Number 2, Cult of Luna's Passing Through. And number 1, 1914, 100 Days of Offensive. Now with Archer's list, number 10, Muta and Rammstein by Ohne Dich. Number 9, The Show Must Go On by Queen.
Damn.
No, number 8, The 100 Years of Offensive by 1914. Number 7, The Unforgiven Trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. Number 6, Enchantment and Forever Failure by Paradise Lost. Number 5, The Spirit Carries On by Dream Theater. Number 4, All Hearts Fall by Canatonia. Number 3, Slipping Sun by Nightwish. Number 2, Beyond the Realms of Death by Priest. And number 1, Orphan Land's Brother.
Oh, yes.
And now time for the list from us. I shall begin. At number 10, I also have Mutter by Rammstein. I mean,
It's
yeah.
Number 10 too.
Yeah, so
Number 10.
I mean, when you look at it from a lyrical standpoint, after you translate everything from German to English, basically it's a song about how a boy was artificially born through sperm and an egg rather than from actual mother and father. And he grows up wishing he had a mother, but yet at the same time hates his mother. So it's all about the love-hate relationship a son can have with their mother, but in the very end, all he wants is to be with his mother. And it's like, just let him be with the mother, for fuck's sake. The poor boy's had to grow up with no one, you know? But, yeah, and also arguably the best Rammstein song of all time. You could make the argument with that. Number 9, my only tie on the list. First, Agalok, The Great Cold Death of the Earth. I mean, that's probably the one song off the mantle I've listened to the most. And I've listened to that album quite a few times, and that's the one song that just keeps clicking. You know, I just love how it's beautifully constructed, and also the lyrics all about how the Ice Age can lead to the end of the world and all this and that. You know, especially in the thing that gets me the most of this song, that beautiful acoustic solo about like 2.5 minutes into the song. Probably one of the best non-electric guitar parts I've ever heard in a metal context. And then, to tie along with it, Add Reality by Dan Swano.
Of course, I should have known you were gonna have Dan Swano.
I mean, you know me you should know that, because I talk about him almost every episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, with this song, I mean, it's off of his one and only solo album, Moon Tower, 1998. It's prog death metal. But this song with just great keyboards and pianos to begin. And it's essentially like a song all about how you go through a marriage, and it's talking about the ups and downs you could have. And in fact, Dan actually wrote this about his then wife at the time. And it's like most of the song, it's Dan's signature growl. Then you get to the end and you hear that like soulful, clean voice that he's known for. And it's one of the best prog death metal songs of all time. Number 8. Damn you, Barney Rubble. I have a Judas Priest song, but it's not Beyond the Realms of Death. It's Here Comes the Tears.
Ooh, off of Sin After Sin.
Off of Sin After Sin. I mean, you want to talk about more bleakness. Wow. You know, after the first bits and then you get into the acoustic stuff, and Rob's voice going through, like, singing, all alone, no one cared, so much to give. You all are dead, take me now in your arms, let me rest, safe from harm. Wow. Like, that damn camera. Powerful stuff, basically saying that when I die, God, hold me in your arms. Anyways, actually trying to keep it together a little bit. Number 7. Number 7, So Far Away, Avenged Sevenfold. I mean, given the timing when it came out, months after the Rev passed away. And then the music video. Like a reel of them as kids going to liquor stores, sneaking booze and jamming. And then you get that montage with all the stuff with the Rev. Ending with the empty drum kit. And also, even the band members going to the actual places they used to hang out in their convertible to remember these times.
Yeah, and if you remember Nightmare, they actually show his drum kit at the end as well.
Yeah, at the end of that music video, yeah. And I mean, that whole album as a whole is bleak. in their own different style.
It's like an entire tribute to the Reese.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next up at number 6, Hannah had it on her list. Kiss My Ashes Goodbye by Woods If You Pray. Also, again, given the timing on an album that came out a year after David Gold passed away. And I mean, it's like a tale of two halves. You get that more gothic first half, then you get pure doom the second half. And it's almost like two completely different songs mashed together in like 10.5 minutes. You know? It's kind of like, it's like Woods of Ypres were kind of like the Canadian Typo Negative, only not as cheery, quote unquote. I mean, hell, on that album, there's even a song called Career Suicide is Not Real Suicide, and all this stuff. And yeah, this song, totally bleak, really dark. If nobody here has heard of that song, scope it and try and get through without feeling a little bad. Number 5, The Unforgiven Trilogy by Metallica. You know, all 3 songs, you know, on the Black Album, Reload and Death Magnetic, all 3 of them were bleak in their own way. Like, the first song is obviously the more iconic of the 3, you know, and you gotta look at it from the songwriting perspective, a ballad in reverse. And like Lars even described it whenever they did the documentary all about the Black Album, that with their previous ones, like Fade to Black, Welcome Home Sanitarium, it was like the melodic verse with a heavy chorus. Here they decided to do heavy verses with a melodic chorus. And it worked beautifully. Whereas The Unforgiven 2, it kind of went back to like a melodic verse and a heavy chorus. The Unforgiven 3 is like arguably the more somber of them all. And it kind of went back to the formula of the original song. Heavy verse, melodic chorus. And honestly, out of all the songs off of Death Magnetic, Unforgiven 3 and The Day That Never Comes, even The Day That Never Comes could have been on my list, because that's a sad one in its own right. Kind of like their modern version of One, to a degree. And I'd say it's just as good, to some extent. But yeah, the Unforgiven Trilogy at number 5. Number 4, I have a Catatonia song, but it's Velvet Thorns from Dance of December Souls. One of their longest songs, like nearly 14 minutes of just pure, just bereavement. Like, it's just everywhere. You know, and it's like even little thrashy parts can come in at times on the song, but it's one of the best Death Doom, blackened Death Doom songs of all time. And, you know, especially with like the keyboards coming in courtesy of Dan Swano in the background. And when you read into the lyrics, Catatonia sure knew how to make people cry with their lyrics. Especially on this song. For those who haven't heard of this one, give it a listen. Number 3, it's the instrumental song, and Pixie's Wearing the Shirt. Voice of the Soul by Death. It's like, yeah, no lyrics, but like you hear the song, the instrumentation, so much acoustic, like melodic solos. And it's like the perfect, kind of like the perfect eulogy, so to speak, to Chuck, given how amazing he was as a musician. Number 2, this is where it's gonna get really tough. Number 2, A Question of Heaven by Iced Earth.
I should have known from the Dark Saga. I should have known you were gonna go with that one.
I mean, and also this whole album like has some of that element to it, you know, a concept album about Spawn and his tragic story. And this song, the perfect encapsulation of the Spawn backstory. The man dies serving his country, gets burned alive by a corrupt boss, sent to hell, makes a deal to go see his wife. Then he's cursed to be a general for Satan's armies to start Armageddon. But then he's just like... And then he's just basically like pleading to God, let me die so I can be free, but he can't. Because he's cursed.
Yeah, but then at the end he betrays them and then he takes over both heaven and hell.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, hell, the whole, like I said, the entire backstory of Spawn is a tragedy in its own right. You know, I couldn't imagine, like, if that was real, if that was a real life thing, whew.
Damn.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you never know.
if
It
it
could have.
was real, to be honest, if it was real, I would just embrace my powers and just do what he did. Just betray them all and put it in your own image.
And go after all the evil in the world like he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be me.
Evil.
But yeah, like, and also that final part of the song when you hear Matt Barlow soar. Like, people want to say Matt Barlow's not that great of a singer. Honestly, they don't know what they're talking about. The best singer Iced Earth ever had, in my opinion. I mean, he was kind of like if you were to mix Paul Stanley and James Hetfield, but had a bigger range. In this song, you could hear him go to the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. And whenever he's singing, "Why Won't You Let Me Die," and he hits that, like, Dickinson Halford level high note. And then, like, I think it was Matt Barlow's wife who does, like, the background vocals to add on top of the darkness. I might as well stop while I'm at it. But number one, and it's not a tie, even though it's two songs, they're both from the same band, same album, back to back, tearjerkers. Burden and Porcelain Heart by Opeth. I mean, two completely different stories, two completely different scenarios. Like Burden, that one I can relate to because it's like telling the stories all about how life can be pain. A burden, as said in the title. And then with Porcelain Heart, now I'm starting to cry because these two songs get me every time, but give me a second.
We told you all it was going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult, trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Porcelain Heart, true story with this song. It talks about Michael back in the 90s where... Oh, shut up, Scott.
I mean...
But yeah, like the story with Porcelain Heart, it's a true story about how back in the 90s, Michael Ackerfeld had a girlfriend and they broke up. And she ended up killing herself. And Michael felt guilty about it. And wrote this song. And it's a beautiful song. I didn't think I would actually cry, but good lord. I might as well shut up while I'm at it. Someone else take over. Ricky, go ahead. I can't even finish.
Yeah, it's gonna be... The way that I structure my list is, as this list goes on and on and on, it's gonna get, for me personally, sad, and I might cry. I'm just telling you right now. Number 10, Rammstein, Mutter. Of course, Levi mentioned about how this child was created not from a father or mother, but was inbred in the laboratory, and just wanted a mother's love, but at the same time wanted to kill her mother for not being there. And it's something that we all can relate to because we all, at times, want to. We disargue with our mothers. Sometimes we like do this and do that, but at the same time, we love our mothers. We love them to death. I mean, for fuck's sake, they gave birth to us. But at the same time, there are days that you're like, get away from me and all that. But at the same time, we love each other. Number 9, Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd.
Damn it!
Just by the way how just by the way how the song starts with that acoustic dun 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 dun. How I wish you were here, about missing somebody. And we all have that feeling of missing somebody and want to love them for all time. Number 8, Slipknot, Snuff.
Hey, that's on my list.
I figured Raphael would have it.
That's on my list.
I mean, I mean, when you combine that with the music video with Corey, it's just so powerful about how in the music video he has kind of like a two different parts of his life. You know, he lost his loved one. He kind of, in a way, dressed as his loved one to kind of keep that memory alive of that special somebody that he loved so much. But again, it gives me a tear every time I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, Heaven Can't Wait by Meatloaf. Again, a powerful song. This was during the, of course, the Bat Out of Hell Part 1 that raised him to the fandom. And this is the song that I always come to when I want to listen to Meatloaf. I could have gone with I Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that. But this one's more, I guess, more straight to the point, more friendly, more depressing, if I can say the least. But again, it's about heaven. You can't wait to go to heaven and see the person you love there, you know. Number 6, Jeff Buckley, Hallelujah. Now this one is a rare song that I listen to at times because Jeff Buckley had a short career because he passed away so young. I think it was in his mid-20s. And this, of course, Hallelujah, he did this cover, and that just solidified his career. He had a very he just had a little. He had a very soft voice, but so powerful at the same time. Especially when he does a Hallelujah, you can feel the pain by singing that song. You can feel his pain of all that. Oh God. Number 5, Ozzy Osbourne, Ordinary Man. We've talked about how Ozzy over the years has gone through some difficult times, and when the music video pops out of him seeing a movie of his entire life flashing before his eyes, is so sad. Not to mention with the lyrics, I was born from Fountain of Fame and all that. He just wanted to be with his family, be with Sharon, be with his kids. But again, sometimes the fame doesn't allow you to be with your significant others, with your family. So it's kind of hard for a man who should have been dead by now. He should have died years ago.
Several instances, the latest one being that ATV accident.
And it's amazing that he's still alive.
Yeah.
Survivor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a survivor. He's like a freaking. He's like a phoenix. You can't kill a motherfucker.
You kill him, he can fight himself again and become stronger than ever.
And even with Parkinson's, he's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4, When Love and Death Embrace by him.
I kind of had a feeling you would have a song from him on there.
Yeah, and this one's so straight to the point when you love somebody so much that even though they're in a relationship or they're married, it crushes your heart seeing them with somebody else, but at the same time, you're happy that they're happy there was somebody that could actually be there for them, somebody who can actually hold them in your arms and just be there with them. Number 3, What Should You Pray? Finale. This is the song that ends the album. This is my favorite, probably my favorite What Should You Pray song, because it has the little piano and a little intro, and then at the very end of the song, we didn't spend our life together, but I'll miss you forever. I mean, that can be for anything from losing a close relationship to a close friend to a close family member. Either they're dead or alive, either they're going to move on, or you're going to miss them so much.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2. Oh.
I know. As you get deeper into it, it gets harder.
Number 2. I could have... If it were up to me, I could have made this entire list a Swallow the Sun list.
Really could have.
Because because there's so many sad, swallow songs, but at the same time beautiful. I could have gone with Firelights. I could have gone with From Dusk Till Dawn. I could have gone from The Plague of Butterflies. But I went with the one song that hit me, I think last year hit me the most because of the whole pandemic. The song that ends when a shadow soars into the light, Never Left. If you know the backstory about Juba, he wrote this entire album dedicated to Aaliyah, his love.
Aaliyah
And of
Stanbridge
course,
from
yeah,
what was it, Tears of Eternity? Trees of Eternity.
Trace of Eternity, which I could have gone with Trace of Eternity too. I could have gone with Broken A Million Tears. But I was listening to this song every night, and I always cry about it because it's like it's something that nobody wants to go through, losing your loved one, especially
To
when
cancer.
it says, "Please, life, don't let me win when I walk into night." And if y'all know me, you know this song kind of, I don't know. Johnny Cash is hurt. I mean, of course, the 9 Inch Nail version is really powerful, but this, to me, Johnny Cash, when he covered it and released that music video, it was
Again, given the
highlight.
timing as well.
Yes, yeah, it was a highlight of his life. He wrote that in 2002. He died in 2003. He wrote this song while his wife June was still alive, and then she passed away a couple of months later. And everyone has said this, that he technically wrote his own ending. I mean, that's to me the career highlight of the entire career. And of course, we know that over the years he recorded more stuff and released it in the American Recordings Part 5 and Part 6. But this song right here, to the point that even Trent Reznor has said, it's no longer my song.
Yeah.
It's his song now. It's his song now. Because...
And for Trent to say that is something. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, this is a guy who's been through it all, from the drugs to the rock and roll style to the road. Just... But yeah, my number one, Hurt, Johnny Cash.
Raphael?
Okay, here we go. For number 10, I have Cold Raw. Number 9, Five Finger Death Punch, Remember Everything.
That's a good one.
One
of the last great Five Finger Death Punch songs before they start to suck.
I agree. 8, number 8, Ice Earth. There we go. Ice Earth, I Die For You.
That was the other one I was thinking about, because also from the Dark Saga, that's another powerful one.
That's true. Number 7, Whitechapel, Bring Me Home. Number 6, Shinedown 45.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yes, it is. Number 5, Black Label Society, In This River.
That's another good one. Son of a bitch. How did we forget that one?
One that I took out of my 50+ list.
Oh.
That was in there.
Honorable mention. I'm gonna kick myself in the ass for that one.
Yeah, especially, a song all about dime. Oh my god.
That's true.
And then seeing Zach play it on the piano in front of his friends and fans, like in front of Scotty and then fans of Dime and all that, like that was powerful. Whew.
Number 4, Avenged Sevenfold, Seize the Day.
That's a good one.
Number 3, Korn, Alone I Break.
Ooh, not bad. Actually, if you're thinking of Korn, you could have gone with Daddy also.
I was thinking about that one too. I was thinking about that one.
Even more disturbing, but still powerful.
Is that the one where Jonathan just cries?
Yeah, he cries at the end. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, then again, there's quite a few songs on Korn's last album, The Nothing, that he cries at the end as well. I forgot about that, too.
Number 2, I have Disturbed Overbounded. Or Bird.
Overburdened, yeah.
Overburdened. Mm-hmm.
And number 1 is one that you mentioned. It's Slipknot Snuff.
I should have known. I should have known you're gonna go with Slipknot.
Yeah.
And speaking of Black Love Society, they just announced a tour, and it's a big tour.
Oh shit!
I was supposed to see him 2 years ago, but that was working that day, so I was like,
nah, that sucks.
It's a big tour. They're coming to San Antonio. They're coming to Cincinnati. They're coming to around. Let me see where Florida they're coming to. Fort Lauderdale, Lake Buena Vista.
Okay, I'll make it to that one. I'll make it.
And real quick, before we move on, I gotta say this about Zach Wild. I fucking love Zach. He's such a goofball. And on top of that, from what I've seen, he can fucking cook. Back when I used to watch Metal Injection on YouTube, mainly only for one show, Taste of Metal with Chef Brian Sal, taught him how to make a spicy chicken sandwich, and Zach about perfected it. It's like, not only is he a goofy dude, but a great guitarist, a hell of a singer, but a good cook.
Limb Biscuit sucks cock.
Limp Bizkit still sucks cock.
And also, one of the best thing is, he did help out Ozzy Osbourne in a few of his career.
Yeah.
With the guitar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Pixie.
All right, Pixie. The grand finale is all yours.
So, I keep changing the order of them. So the order is kind of almost irrelevant, but I will go with my number 10 as Planets Collide by Crowbar, which basically it's kind of about how your fears destroy you and how you kind of can't get out of them. And then everything ends because of them. And just as somebody who deals with severe anxiety and depression, it's one that I relate to a little too well. Next, I have Who's to Blame by Sacred Reich. Which, I mean, as somebody who grew up in the 80s and watched the whole PMRC bullshit go down and actually ended up becoming a lawyer because of how inspired I was by how eloquently Dee Snider argued in front of Congress, and I wanted to be an advocate like that. Just the fact that this is about a kid who had, and the whole, basically, of so much of the metal scene gets so little support when we're young from our families. I mean, now that's not really as much of a problem because so many of the parents now are my age, and so they grew up in metal, and so they know it's not going to hurt your kids. It's not going to turn your kid into Columbine. It's not going to make your kid commit suicide, which is the subject of this song. And it just... I went through that. I had tapes that were thrown away, CDs that were thrown out of car windows, sent to therapy not because of my severe depression and anxiety, but because there was something wrong with me because of the music that I was listening to. Forced to teach Bible study to kids to prove that I was not in league with Satan. Things like that.
Evil in league with Satan.
Evil. Just to let you know, you're not supposed to be satanic to listen to the music.
And who is to blame for all that? It's the stigma that we got. And the lack of support that we got, as opposed to the music. The music doesn't make you do anything. The music actually can let you out of it. And for
Yeah.
me, music has always been an escape. It's been a way to get those feelings out in a way that is not self-harmful, in a way that doesn't destroy you. Next, I have Living to Die by Hypocrisy. And again, one of those existential ones as opposed to a more personal one, just about how when it comes to humanity, life is nasty, brutish, and short. We are the slime. We are nothing special, and we exist for nothing but our end. Next, I have Cold by At the Gates.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And again, it's another one of those existential, humanity is awful, and all that there is pain songs. So, sorry, I get a little choked up, but I'm not actually crying, I promise.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else should I throw in here? I have Obscured by Celtic Frost, also off of Monotheist.
That was the other one I was thinking about, yeah.
Of course, it's the painful one. Let's see. I have Heavens Hung in Black by Wasp. It's one that there's something when Blackie Lawless does that kind of song, the emotion in his voice because of that odd rasp that it has, going along with the minor key, going along with the soaring vocals and the lyrical content. It's just one that, again, another one that speaks at the end and being alone at the end, which one of those things that's hard to deal with. Then I have I Feel Nothing by Immolation, which I have my issues with religion, as I mentioned during the Who's to Blame discussion, where religion was kind of used to almost against me, and then being a left-handed redhead in a Catholic family and going to Catholic school, the left is the mark of the devil. Redheads have been accursed since Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus. And when I was 5 years old, I had a nun actually bring me up in front of assembly to use me as an example.
Jeez.
What?
Yes.
I would have whooped that nun's ass.
I did. I threw buck moth stinging caterpillars at that old bitch.
Oh god.
Wow.
I got like that's cool.
It's like, okay, we are human beings. Like, let us be. Like, even God says we have to respect everyone's religions. I mean, come on, people.
5 years old. I was in kindergarten.
Wow.
Then I have The Cry of Mankind by My Dying Bride.
I'm surprised Ricky forgot that one.
There was a lot of
I was expecting everybody to have that one on their list, honestly. And that one is another one that was one of my late boyfriend TJ's absolute favorite songs. He covered it in 2 of his bands, actually, and so I have trouble listening to it, honestly. It's a beautiful song, but it's one that just too many memories of somebody who I loved far too much, who was taken with no warning. Literally got up one morning to get ready for work, was brushing his teeth and collapsed, 25 years old, of a heart attack.
That's sort of the same thing that happened to Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I would gone for any My Dying Bride song, I could have gone for My Fallen Angel. It's pretty sad too.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Dreaming in Red by Dismember.
Hmm.
And that is one where the musical feel of it, going from that opening bass line all the way through. It's a sensory experience, not to mention the lyrics being what they are. I mean, the lyrics, let me pull them up right fast. Time is drifting away to form another day, with or without me, my faith to be tomorrow I will not see. Be it the darkest of dreams or the darkest of deaths, nor can either of these truly guarantee my release. Staring at these four walls, remembering what I have achieved, enter the tomb of the deceived. All that were is lost. Wars of mankind take my fucking life. Alone I'll be, one with the dreams in red. Flatlined and cold I lay, victim of their play in the shadows of the obscure. My soul forever, nevermore. It's
Wowzers.
That's a full sensory experience, both with the mind and the ears, and then when you see it played live and the energy, it's I can't even really express, but it's a song that when I just listening to it on the album, it causes a physical reaction, and then seeing it live is beyond. And then my number one song is How Will I Laugh Tomorrow by Suicidal Tendencies. And that one, it's one that, again, I relate to a little too well. It's one that I listen to on repeat. I actually, back when I was a kid, dubbed myself a tape that was nothing but sit there, record the song, hit rewind, play the song, record, hit rewind, 90-minute tape, nothing but that song.
Yeah.
And
that is a great song. It's been a while since I've listened to that one.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that one, let me pull up lyrics to that one as well, blah, blah, blah. Where did you
And real quick,
get
while
it?
you're doing that, so Scott brought up a couple of songs. He had The Crown of Sympathy by My Dying Bride. And I can't believe I forgot this one, Cemetery Gates Pantera.
That was in my 50 along with Suicide Note.
I
Part one,
wanted to put Cemetery Gates, but I was I had to make some tough cuts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
that
then
was
Scott
in that
also
50 where I threw out like 25.
Yeah, Scott then also included 1916, but also Don't Let Daddy Kiss Me by Motorhead.
Oof.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is one song I wanted to add it. It was Three Doors Down, Here Without You.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
Also, a cover that I probably should have added is Diamonds and Rust, which is the Joan Baez song as covered by Priest.
Yeah.
Their acoustic cover of it
Yeah.
is incredible. And it's a love that just disappeared. It's about her relationship with Bob Dylan and how it just went.
Mhm.
And it's very self-deprecating. And Diamonds and Rust, you've got Tears and Blood, which is what you put into every relationship, and you don't necessarily get anything out of it back.
And then I just remembered an underrated one, Pieces by Anthrax. Because of the story, the true story about Frankie Bellows' brother / Charlie Benante's nephew, Anthony, being murdered. And Frankie wrote that song in expression of his grief and how he became so angry that the murder never got solved when it happened. So that was one that I almost wanted to put on honorable mentions, but forgot about.
Well,
Now the real work. Oh, good lord. Oh man.
Oh god.
I'm trying to think like of some doubles. Well, with Catatonia, it's like a lot of us have Catatonia, but different songs from them. So that's going to be a tough one. So we'll come back to that.
Oh, so for sure.
I think Mutter should be in there because
Mutter
plenty of us
should
had
be-
Mutter. Probably low, like number 10, because it was pretty
Let me
low
just-
for everybody.
Let me just pull up my Microsoft So I'm gonna put Muta
At number
just on
10.
the list, and then you know what? Why not we put Black Label Society at number 10, number 9 Muta? Because
Yeah, I can go with that because that was a giant oversight on my part.
yeah, Black
Yeah, that was a giant
Label
oversight in this river.
for me too.
Um,
What was the song? What was the song?
what
In
from
This
Black?
River.
Yeah, in this river, Black Label
Yeah.
Society.
In this
The
river.
Great Cold Death of the Earth. Should
Yeah, I think A Great Cold Death of the Earth should be in there. I would say Kiss My Ashes Goodbye should be in there.
Let me just.
I would
write some
say
of them down.
those. I would say those would be the relatively safe bets.
So Black Label Society, In This River, Rammstein, Muta, and what was the other one?
Agalok, Great Cold Death of the Earth,
Agalok.
And
and
what about,
Woods If You Pray, Kiss My Ashes Goodbye.
Great Cold Lake, and Woods of Ypres.
But yeah, for like other ones,
Ozzy Osbourne's Ordinary Man.
Yes, Ozzy Osbourne.
I could go with that. I'm trying to think of like some other doubles we might have had or any big oversights.
We had even though it was all honorable mention, more than one mentioned Solitude by Sabbath.
Yeah. Speaking of which, another big oversight: Solitude by Candlemass.
It's the same song.
Mhm.
Cover.
Just production.
I mean, Pink Floyd. Wish You Were Here.
Yeah.
I could, I can't. I'm ashamed that I forgot that one. I'm ashamed I forgot. And Scott even said that would have been his number one. Oh man, this is really tough. If we're gonna have if we're gonna have Priest on the list, I don't mind putting Beyond the Realms of Death up there. I mean, I only went with Here Come the Tears just because of how much more ethereal it was. But I could go with Beyond the Realms of Death too.
And we definitely should put the trilogies up.
Yeah, the Unforgiven trilogy. Probably put that lower though, because not very many of us had. I'd probably put that like number 9, probably.
I mean, I'm just putting everything down.
Yeah, bump everything up and put Unforgiven trilogy at 9, perhaps.
Just Unforgiven trilogy.
I mean, I know yeah.
So we're missing 3 more spots.
I know I was the only one to have them, but I would make a huge case for Burden and Porcelain Heart being up there because I mean, just given the 2 different stories they tell. Now that I'm composed myself, I could fully explain. So, with Burden, it's basically telling a story about a man carrying burdens in his life and how he goes through the worst pain, the worst sorrows possible. Mm-hmm. And the way the song is constructed makes it even sadder. Mm-hmm. And then with Porcelain Heart, Michael Ackerfeld described it as whenever he had a girlfriend back in the 90s, and when they broke up, she ended up taking her own life, and he felt eternally guilty about it, so he wrote the song in expression about his grief about it, and how he wished that he could have taken her back. And also with how that song is, it's a little heavier than Burden just because there's more heavier electric guitars, particularly before it transitions into all acoustic. But man, not to mention both those songs back to back on Watershed. Like, how do you pull 2 tearjerkers in a row like that?
And also, that's
Suicidal Tendencies nailed it on the How Will I Laugh Tomorrow.
I would actually go with that, honestly.
Whole album is tearjerkers.
I wish Swallow Sun would make the list, but we had 3 different songs. Me Never Left, You Fire Lies, and Hannah had from Dust, from Ashes. No, from. Now I'm forgetting the song. But yeah.
I mean, we would definitely need to put a Swallow the Sun and a Catatonia song. We just need to figure out which one is the problem.
Okay.
And the Disturbed had a similar situation about that. Actually,
from
And-
Catatonia, even though it wasn't mentioned. I have the album right here. I was thinking, why not would put Gateways of Betterment?
Oh yeah, Gateways of Bereavement. Yeah, off the same album. Yeah, I could.
Yes,
As a good compromise, I could go with that.
because that ending though, like I love you, that pain. Oh.
Yeah, and even the live version from '96
Yes.
is quite something too. Even though it's a little heavier and a little more sinister sounding, I do like the live version of that song too. So I'd say we should put "How Will I Laugh Tomorrow" in there. I'm still fighting. I still fight for Burden and Porcelain Heart to get in there.
Okay. So right now, without no order, we have Black Label Society, In the River, Muta, Rammstein, Great Collect by Agalog, Kiss Masters Goodbye, Playing for You, Wish You Were Here.
It's
Priest.
right called Death of the Earth.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to
Trying
right down.
to get it through.
Yeah. Priest, Beyond the Realms of Death, The Unforgiven Trilogy, Catatonia, Gateways. So we're missing 2 more spots. And then we'll just figure out the order.
Yeah. Wait, did you say "How Will I Laugh Tomorrow"? Did you put that in there?
No, I didn't. That was for
Yeah.
what was it?
That was Pixie's number 1.
How
Will I Laugh Tomorrow by Suicidal Tendencies.
I
Yeah.
laugh tomorrow. I'm just trying to shorten it here.
Yeah.
It's too long
How
of
will
a
I
name.
laugh?
Yeah, it's got more words on it too. It's a long
Yeah.
title.
So we're missing 1 more spot.
I mean, if y'all want one that would be an honorable, I would put "Who's to Blame" by Sacred Reich, just because of how that song hit those of us who are older.
Yeah,
I mean-
that's true.
Because y'all are all
Yeah,
y'all, y'all
I still
Y'all-
want to fight for Swallow. I still want to
What?
fight for Swallow's son.
I mean, we're all fighting for different ones. Like, I'm still fighting for Opeth to get in there.
Or how about this? Let the chat
Opeth this
decide.
chick music.
Let the chat decide between Swallow's son and Opeth.
And I guess we'll throw in Sacred Reich into the mix to make
Yes.
Pixie happy.
And as I said, that one I would just
Yes.
put in as an honorable
That's true.
because your generation.
That's true.
It's like a
Yeah.
like a number 11. I guess that's fair.
I guess.
And actually, another one that many of us did have that we can put into this voting thing. So Far Away, Avenged Sevenfold. Forgot.
Yeah,
that
we
one.
could.
So I'm gonna
literally
put
don't
a
know
poll
that song.
up. I'm gonna
I
put
could
a
not name a
poll
single
up.
old song if I tried.
Which song? Stupid keyboard. God! Which song should make the final 10? I'm just gonna put them into bands.
Mhm.
So Swallow the
Yeah.
Sun, Opeth, or Avenged Sevenfold. And this poll is going to be up on Twitch, so people who are watching on YouTube that have Twitch, go to the Twitch link, and there
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
And depending on the
And
band,
thank you, Formo, for the follow. And if you're going to sub to Twitch, thank you very much for that.
and depending on the band, we'll choose a song from the band.
Yeah. So far, wow, people already gone to vote. So far, it's two.
Please. Oh, please fuck me, baby.
Damn it, Scott!
Oh my god!
What does
Oh
Scott
my
do?
god! I just saw it.
Yep, the Zevgasm struck.
Well, at least you got to hear
Oh.
Dev's voice.
Yeah. Anyway, so far with the poll, it's 2 for Swallow the Sun, 1 Avenged Sevenfold, nothing for Opeth yet.
Because it's chick music, and we're not chicks.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an asshole, sorry. I remember back in the 90s, just everybody's like, oh, you're a girl who likes metal? Don't you love Opeth? Fuck you!
Okay.
I never seeing like stuff about Opeth. I never came across anything like that.
This next
You weren't
song.
alive back then.
This next song. It's about butt sex.
Oh god, yeah, and that's why I love Michael. He's so fucking funny. This next song. is about butt fucking, and damn it, Pixie, you didn't have to do that, but thank you for the 500 biddies. I see you're trying to... Actually, I haven't even checked who's been leading the biddies battle, but I can't see it because of the poll right now. So far, Ricky, looks like you're gonna get your wish. And the poll is about to end in 3, 2, 1. Swallow the Sun wins.
Okay, so the song now. Oh god.
Whatever you choose, I'll go with. It don't matter. I mean, yeah. So.
Yeah. Let's go with Never Left.
Yeah, I can go with Never Left. That is a great song.
Now
the order.
Now the order. So number 10, I think would be good. Black Label Society. Goes to number 10, even though we all forgot it.
Mm-hmm.
Which.
It.
Yep.
Yeah. Number 9. Is it okay? We have Muta.
Yeah. Considering that those of us that had it
low. Ahead of Unforgiven trilogy.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Okay,
I think Muta is more moving.
So, yeah.
It feels more real.
Yeah,
Unforgiven trilogy is kind of forced and doesn't feel genuine. Ever has.
How about we put Wish You Were Here number 9?
I think Wish You Were Here has to go way higher.
Me too.
Or Catatonia. Or number 9.
I would say number 9, let's have that be the Unforgiven trilogy. Then
number 9, the Unforgiven trilogy.
Then we can go Muta.
Wait, let me just cut.
And then number 7, I would go with Gateways of Bereavement, Catatonia.
So 6? Number 7, number 8 would be what, Agalok?
No, I said Muta at number 8.
Oh, okay, Muta number 8.
7, I would go with Gateways of Bereavement. I would put Agalok at 6, honestly.
Agreed.
Now the top 5.
So what was number 7 again?
Gateways of Bereavement, Catatonia.
Oh yeah, Gateways. Let me just try to move here.
This is where the real work comes in, ladies and gentlemen.
So number 7 is Gateways by Catatonia, and number 6 was, what was number 6?
Great Cold Death of the Earth, Agalok.
I thought that was number 8.
No, number 8's Muta.
Oh yeah, number 8 is Muta.
You keep forgetting, Mr. Knock knock, anybody home?
You're writing it.
Because I'm trying to move everything here.
I know, I couldn't imagine trying to do this myself. I probably could. Jeez, now I sound like I talk with a lisp with this icebreaker.
So number 6 was Agalok. So 6 was Agalok, and then I'm just trying to move here. Okay, now number 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Okay, so what all do we have left to rank? We got Swallow the Sun, Pink Floyd, Suicidal. What the hell else was there that we put in there?
We just need Priest, Pink Floyd,
oh yeah, Priest,
Woods of Ypres,
and Woods
Swallow
of
the Sun, and Suicidal.
I would say have Woods of Ypres 5. Then I would have.
Okay, I'm just trying to think in terms of sadness.
Yeah, that is the other key factor.
I mean, Pink Floyd, even though it is sad, but it's not as sad as like. Okay, I think number 5, Beyond the Realms, would be good.
I would honestly put Jesus, stupid icebreaker. I would honestly put Beyond the Realms of Death like top 3, honestly.
So number 5 could be maybe Pink Floyd? Or think it will be a bit...
Yeah, I could go with Wish You Were Here at 5, then Woods of Ypres 4, then Priest 3. Now between Swallow the Sun and Suicidal Tendencies for the top 2. I would say in terms of more proper sadness and behind the music, I would give the edge to Swallow the Sun by a hair. Just because they're just the masters of writing somber, melodic death doom. Whereas, yeah, the lyrics of How I Laugh Tomorrow definitely can match up. I'm just saying... It's
more... One is more musically emotional, and one is more...
lyrically emotional.
It's more coming from... I mean, it's coming from an era when there was no such thing as doom. It's coming from an era when it was more of a expression of your own feelings as opposed to a whole all-encompassing, we're gonna create music to convey the feeling of depression, which is what Doom kind of does, as opposed to we are conveying the rawness of it, which is what.
I mean, granted though. Yeah, I mean, granted
it's
though.
Such a different.
Yeah, I mean, granted
one is
though.
Raw and one is overproduced, but very beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, granted though, the Swallow Suns, the song Never Left though. It's like that's like one of the few of that melodic death doom where it's like not only musically but lyrically because like Ricky described it, it was the whole album was written in as kind of like a eulogy to Aaliyah Stanbridge, who passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
Because she was the girlfriend of one of the guitarists. And she was a frequent songwriting collaborator for Swallow the Sun back then.
Man, could she sing?
Yeah, Trees of Eternity. Good band. You know what? Let's put them both at number one. Scott said, let's just put them both at number one. But now we need another song to put into the list to move everything up.
Then we've got my number 11.
I mean, we got the top 8. We just need number 1, number 2. I mean, let's leave it to the vote.
I would honestly, what I would do is, because it's basically 9 spots, just move everything up that we have at number 10 up a spot, because we got 2 number 1s now with Swallow Sun.
Both
How Will I Laugh Tomorrow and Never Left at number 1, and then just move everything up 1, and then we need a song to fit at number 10. I mean, I'll put that one up to a poll with Sacred Reich, Opeth, and I don't want to put in Avenged Sevenfold in there again, so I'll just put in Opeth, Sacred Reich, or how about Sabbath? How about Sabbath?
Cry of Mankind, y'all all loved that one.
I can go with My Dying Bride and the vote.
Or how about Snuff?
Snuff. I forgot about Snuff. Yeah, I'll put that as a 4th option.
Yeah.
So far, which band should make the final 10? Opeth, Sacred Reich, My Dying Bride, or Slipknot? And just to be clear, the songs. For Opeth, it's Burden, Porcelain Heart, Sacred Reich, Who's to Blame, Cry of Mankind, My Dying Bride, and Snuff, Slipknot.
And what about Ordinary Man from Ozzy Osbourne?
So far,
I could have gone with It Hurt by Johnny Cash, but I'm like, it's.
I think covers belong.
It is a cover. 10. It's a cover. That's the only distinction.
Yeah, I mean, we've done the covers, and that's like, I think the number 1 everyone had would be.
That would. Yeah, if we were to have, I've even brought this up before. There are some episodes from back in the early days of the show I wish we could revamp, like cover songs. That would be one of them.
I mean, eventually.
Maybe it'll be a spin-off, like a spin-off recorded series. Horsemen revamped, where we go back to old lists from the early days and fix them up. Instead of doing it live, it'd be
Death Girl.
There you go.
And her very odd taste.
So far, 2 for Slipknot, 1 My Dying Bride, 1 Sacred Reich, nothing for Opeth. So far.
As long as Opeth isn't in there, I'm happy. I have issues with that band.
I can see why.
just because he said, like, fucking.
It was just so frustrating. It's like people would just look at me and be like, "Oh, you listen to doom and black metal only. You know nothing about bands like Deeds of Flesh, Disgorge, Devourment, Gorguts, Gorgasm, Malevolent Creation, Monstrosity, Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, back back when the internet was still a baby and stuff like
Yeah.
that, when these weren't as well known, Immolation, they were all like, "Oh, don't you just love Dummy Burger and Opeth and Children of Bottom and all that?" It's like,
Wow.
Well,
Like, who cares? Why do you
Well,
Slipknot
looks
here.
like, yes, Slipknot won, so Snuff at number 10.
and
Hold on, baby.
so recap.
don't even know the song. Sorry, y'all.
So recap. For number 10 to number 1. Number 10, Snuff by Slipknot. Number 9, Black Label Society, In This River. Number 8, The Unforgiven Trilogy by Metallica.
Yep.
Number 7, Rammstein's Muta. Number 6, Canatonia's
Gateways
Gateways.
of Bereavement.
Number 5, Agalock, The Great Cold Lake. Number 4, Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Number 3, Beyond the Realms of Death by Priest. Number 2, Woods of Ypres, Kiss Matches Goodbye. And number 1, the first high at number 1 they've ever had.
Ever, yeah.
How I Will Laugh Tomorrow by Suicidal Tendencies and Swallow the Sun's Never Left.
And I think that is a perfect number 1 because they are the two different sides of depression and sorrow and loss
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
together. You have the rawness and you have the
Bombastic epicness.
exactly.
Yeah, so everyone good with the list. Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Going once,
And don't
One,
forget
going
11.
twice.
Going twice.
So,
Oh,
So, ladies and gentlemen, the final top 10 of the top 10 saddest songs in hard rock, metal, what have you. At number 10, Snuff by Slipknot. Number 9, In This River, Black Label Society. Number 8, The Unforgiven Trilogy by Metallica. 7, Rammstein Mutter. Number 6, Gateways of Bereavement, Catatonia. Number 5, The Great Cold Death of the Earth by Agalock. Number 4, Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd. Number 3, Judas Priest, Beyond the Realms of Death. Number 2, Woods of Ypres, Kiss My Ashes Goodbye. And number 1, Swallow the Sun Never Left, and Suicidal Tendencies, How Will I Laugh Tomorrow, with an honorable mention of Who's to Blame by Sacred Reich. And Bird and Porcelain Heart Opeth.
no one cares about Opeth anymore. They're late and gone.
Hey, come on now. Come on now. Wowie. And
yeah, we
only, and I actually did cry for a split second. Good lord.
I came close.
Yeah, I saw he was coming closer, Pixie, a few times. So a reminder of, so as far as next episode, when we got the next 2 episodes lined up, after that, I'm gonna make a new poll for what will come with episode 58 going forward. Vagina boob. Thank you, Scott. Anyways. So next episode 56 is going to be top 10 Bathory songs.
Ooh, nice.
And then the episode after that, our third album discussion, Behemoth the Satanist. And then after that, it'll be up to you guys who watch on Twitch and YouTube. There will eventually, in about a month or so, there will be a poll of 5 different episode ideas. Whatever comes up in order of whatever gets the votes will be the order of the following episodes. As far as what those topics will be, we'll have to discuss them at some point, and the poll will be up. But yeah, the next episode, top 10 Bathory songs. Are you ready to get evil and epic? Well, there you go.
With a fucking goat set. Funny, where we got the idea from.
It's a shame that we can't get Sammy Duet into that one because his discussions on Bathory are just amazing to listen to. Them and Beharit. He can talk your ear off.
Oh, you better get those guys online.
Man. But yeah, top 10 Bathory songs, I feel like that's gonna break us all. Oh my lord.
Greatest of all time. Or the GOAT first game.
Holy shit.
You to kill me.
But actually, speaking of Behemoth, about an hour ago or so, they released a new music video from their Forest EP.
Mm-hmm.
The Shadow of a Cast Upon Golgotha.
Oh wow.
And they said that they would possibly have an album out this year, but now they're saying until they can tour again, they might wait until next year. Kind of like what Megadeth was gonna do. I'm still, as far as like albums coming this year, I'm still waiting for the new Carcass album. Damn it! Please release it. The EP that came out last year was great, but I want to hear more.
Out of curiosity, the sound of the EP, which I haven't heard yet, I kind of haven't listened to new stuff in a long time. If y'all haven't picked that up,
Yeah.
Was it more in the vein of Heartwork Swan Song, or more in the vein of Reek and
No.
No, it's
More about
it's like
about-
what Carcass does now. It's like musically they combine influences of hard work and necroticism with the lyrics of the old days. So it's
Okay,
that balancing
wanna-
act. Yeah. The EP was called Despicable, and it's 4 songs, and it's songs that got left on the cutting room floor for their next album. Even at that, the songs are great, like The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. That's an amazing 6-minute mellow death song. But yeah, their last album, Pixie Surgical Steel, in my opinion, their best album, because it's the perfect balance of the blasting speed of the early days with the melody of hard work. It just balances everything perfectly. And has maybe their best song, in my opinion, Mount of Execution. 8.5 minutes of just amazing heaviness, yet great melody with catchy riffs. And Jeff Walker sounds just as good as he did back then, too. And
Now,
even Bill
if I-
Sears back on vocals.
I'm coming after you for this
I think
because I
you'll
hated
like it.
Swan Song, and I had issues with Heartwork.
But yeah, like Carcass nowadays, it's like sound-wise, they mix necroticism and hard work together with the lyrics of like Symphonies of Sickness. Like they're back to doing the more gory stuff lyrically, but musically it's still trying to push forward what they were doing. Like Hell on Surgical Steel, listen to some of these song titles. You got Thrasher's Abattoir, which is kind of like a death grindy song. Not really much melody, and the lyrics, like I said with Evil Gore on the last episode, but this song has every conceivable word with the phrase shun at the end.
So basically,
Brutalization,
band
mortification,
name in the
annihilation, asphyxiation, mutilation, suffocation, strangulation. Everything you can think of is in this song in under 2 minutes.
naming bands in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm. And then you got Cadaver Pouch Conveyor System, A Congealed Clot of Blood, The Master Butcher's Apron, Non-Compliance to ASTM F89912 Standard, that's a mouthful. The Granulating Dark Satanic Mills, Unfit for Human Consumption, 316L Grade Surgical Steel, Captive Bolt Pistol, and you end with arguably their best song, Mount of Execution. So lyrically and song titles, they're back to their old days. Musically, they're still pushing forward from hard work and necroticism, where it's death metal with the not overindulging melody, but more like proper melodic death metal, in all honesty. But I mean,
yeah. In terms of melodeath that I really like is more stuff like Dismember.
Yeah, like that has the subtle melody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There is a melody there. Or Cryptopsy, I consider them melodeath, honestly.
little bit.
which people don't agree with me, but that's my opinion.
Right.
But
there's
anyway, I
melody.
hope everybody's gonna be ready for battles because, oh my god,
Yeah.
I know Hannah's gonna. Knowing Hannah, I know what her number one's gonna be. I just know it.
I believe I know which one it is.
Any
They
guesses
wanted
of what
to
you
put-
think my number one will be?
You're the one that I'm like
Unsure about.
unsure
you're
about.
in between a few of them.
Knowing Anna and Archer, I think I know what the number ones are gonna be, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong
Yeah,
before.
I believe we're still on the air.
Yeah.
I know my one.
But with all that said, I think that's a good way to wrap up our festivities for today, because actually I need to go shower and get ready for work in about an hour. But anyways, thank you guys who stuck around this whole time. What would you guys say is the saddest metal song of all time in your book? Let us know in the comments on the archive on YouTube. But until next time, actually I'm going to pick somebody to raid over on the Twitch side of things. And I know the perfect guy, my old putty. I'm not using fucking fart putty. Good lord, I am so slow today. The Walking Deadpan, also a good friend of Mr. Daniel DK from Exciter, so go check him out. He's really cool. If you love old school power metal, he's your guy on that home front, so there you go. But until next time, horns high, and we'll see you next time.